Hey everyone, Alpha Eagle here again. Welcome back. I hope you're all doing well, and may God bless you all. Oh my goodness. Usually, when I make these videos criticizing people's views, I will say that I have nothing against them. For example, when I criticize Tristan or just some guy, I believe that they are genuine, just misinformed. However, I believe that Mr. Lucas might actually be a malicious person. I think he might actually be a racist black nationalist. Bruh. I subscribed to Mr. Lucas a long time ago. I once agreed with him on many things, but he seems to have changed a lot recently. I think you can actually visually see when he went from a good guy to a bad guy. The flag on his hat went from right side up to upside down. My guy, check out this video about the shooting in Uvalde.
Ladies and gentlemen, is what privilege looks like. Now, in wake of the tragedy that happened in Texas, I want people to understand what is going on. Because what I mean by privilege in this scenario is simply just another form of anti-black racism.
Anti-black racism, he says. I want you to stop and think about how disgusting Lucas's views are. This is a horrible tragedy with many people dead, and most of them are children, and none of them were black, as far as I know. I might be mistaken about that. And his first thought is, what about the black people? Lucas is being disgusting and selfish. He is only thinking about him and his people, nobody else. He is not thinking about the children, regardless of their race. If they're not black, he does not care. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this is the first video he made on this shooting. It's not like this is one of a series of videos and this is just one perspective. He didn't make a video about how tragic the shooting was. This is the first video on it, and his first thought was, what about me and my people? And he's not the only one with this perspective. Obama himself also made a very disgusting and selfish tweet concerned only with him and his people. He says, as we grieve the children of Uvalde today, we should take time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him. He's saying, yeah, those non-black children over there, yeah, they died. But let's take time to honor this criminal who attacked women and who had enough illegal drugs in him to kill a horse and whose death had nothing to do with race, yet sparked a bunch of false race rioting and looting and more death, all based on a lie. So it's clear where Obama and Lucas's priorities lay, on themselves and their race only. Let's continue.
Because I want you to notice, despite the tragedy, I want you to peep the reaction. I want you to understand how the media is portraying this. What is the narrative that is going on currently right now? What is everyone talking about? Besides, of course, gun control, whatnot. The issue they are giving, the excuse they are giving is mental health. Mental health. We need to talk about mental health. This is a mental health problem, okay? This person was bullied at school. This person was made fun of. This is a bigger issue that we need to tackle, the mental health of this kid. You name me the last time the media, I don't care the right or the left because I think they're both the same. You name me the last time they gave the mental health excuse for a black criminal. Did they do that when it came to, I don't know, the subway massacre?
Now, to be fair, I have found very little regarding the subway shooting and the mental health of the person, but I do have a video that contradicts Lucas's narrative coming up.
Or were they saying, hey, no, this is what they do. This is what black people do. This is who they are. This is innately who they are. They can't change themselves.
Okay, this is a straight up lie by Lucas. There is no news report from either the left or the right saying, quote, This is what black people do. This is who they are. They can't change themselves. If Lucas is watching, I want to put forth this challenge to him. Show me any modern day news report saying, quote, this is what black people do. This is who they are. They can't help themselves. I guarantee you will never find it because Lucas is a straight up liar, and I don't often swear. I'm just not that type of person. But in this case, I will say Lucas is full of shit. You'll never find the modern day mainstream media pushing the narrative that this is who they are, that they can't change themselves for black people. You will, however, find mainstream corporate media claiming white men are the biggest threat to this country. Listen to what Don Lemon has to say.
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no ban on, they have the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
Immediately after saying that we shouldn't demonize people, Don Lemon demonizes white men. He dog whistles violence against white men, and he says that we have to do something about them. And he suggests that we have a white guy ban, and he dog whistles to his audience again, asking, what should we do about them? So again, I challenge Lucas to find any modern day mainstream media personality asking for a black man ban, or saying we should do something about black men, or asking their audience, what should we do about these black men?
Any discussion of mental health? No, not at all. Do they do that to Waukesha? This is a mental health crisis. You have to understand, this person had a difficult time growing up in the past. Or do they do everything in their power to go throughout this man's history and try to malign them? Is that what they did? Or they try to give him excuses? Oh, this is why he did that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hell.
Good. He brought it up. This is what I was talking about. I have a video that proves that Lucas is full of shit. Yes, Lucas, I did find a video of the media talking about the mental illness of the Waukesha racist, black supremacist terrorist. In this video, they do talk about the man not having his medication and there being mental health problems in this country.
When he became an adult, a decision was made that he no longer suffered from a mental illness. That decision left him with no insurance or financial means to pay for medication and, when determined, necessary counseling. Mental illness is real and the system is broken. It can and must be fixed now, not next year or with new legislation now. So many like Daryl have fallen through the cracks because of a broken system that no one cared to address. Can get the help they so desperately need.
Lucas is a straight up liar.
Even go so far as the Asian hate crime, where that was coming about. Were they going about saying, hey, you have to understand, these people who are attacking these Asians, they were mentally ill. They're mentally distressed. One person, they were homeless. They were going through difficult times. We have to focus on mental health problems, okay? This is a mental health issue in this country. Not once.
What I did find out about the so-called Asian hate crimes is that the media blamed white Trump supporters. They tried to blame Trump because of his remarks about the virus. The media was not attacking black people with this narrative. They were attacking white Trump supporters.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why.
Words matter. Calling it that presents physical harm to the Asian American community. By using this term, it adds nothing to the scientific community, but causes harm to the Asian American community.
So when I say anti-black racism, that's exactly what I am seeing. It's not because I am making it such, it's because it is what it is.
No, Lucas, you are not seeing that. Yes, you are making it up. You are a liar, Lucas. I have proven that. Again, you're full of shit, Lucas.
There are certain benefits that non-black people are receiving, whether it's in the media, whether it's in, in representation, that is far more charitable than how this country is treating black individuals. And it's something that until you start to realize it, until you start to notice it, nothing is going to be changed. You simply saying stop making everything racial, you are the problem.
No, Lucas, you're the problem. Because you are a liar and you are aiding in dividing this country. You make me sick, Lucas.
Do you understand? You're the problem who constantly keeps saying, hey, I want to be colorblind. Because we're not living in a colorblind society in any way, shape, or form. How they are portraying and depicting black individuals is that this is their true nature, as opposed to other individuals who are non-black, whether they're a white Hispanic or a white kid. Hey, they were just mentally distressed. They're mentally disturbed, or they were bullied. And that is not fair.
And this is a lie. The media never says that this is black people's true nature. And again, in fact, I have proven that the media do claim that white people are the greatest threat to the U.S. So black people are treated better than white people in the media, since black men are never called the greatest threat to the U.S. And what this is all about is that the Uvalde shooting took attention away from the Buffalo shooting. Lucas is mad that the media stopped talking about black people being the victims and started talking about Latinos being the victims. In his warped mind, Lucas thinks that only black people can be victims and nobody else. When anybody else is seen as a victim, he gets mad. I've noticed this with other YouTubers. For example, just some guy who also happens to be black made a video titled, "So, you want to play the victim?" in which he got mad at Christians, who are mostly white in America, who dared to criticize an X-Men book. And he perceived this as them wanting to be the victim. Just like Lucas, just some guy, in his mind, only black people are allowed to play the victim. White savior Tristan also did this, referring to the recent Star Wars manufactured controversy. She said, in part, "If you're saying that this is an attack on all fans, think about what that says about you wanting to be the victim." The majority of Star Wars fans being white, that is. Again, just like Lucas and just some guy, Tristan seems to think that only minorities and women can be victims, even though the minority woman in this case has a billion-dollar corporation behind her, yet she is somehow the victim. This next video, it's more of the same, but this time Lucas attacks Asians instead of Latinos for taking away attention from black people.
This is what anti-black racism looks like. Now, I want to remind everyone that we are coming off of one of the most extreme, blatant, anti-black acts of terror that occurred in Buffalo.
See? What did I tell you? The media stopped talking about Buffalo, so Lucas is pissed that his people aren't getting the attention anymore.
And what has happened? Nothing. What has transpired since then? Nothing. What has Democrats done? Nothing. What have Republicans done? Nothing. What has this Biden administration done? Nothing.
He said nothing happened. That's another lie. They caught the guy, and he will probably spend the rest of his life in jail. I think he should be executed, but that's my opinion. Personally, I think that they should investigate the FBI involvement, but that will probably never happen. What else do you want to happen, Lucas?
And to add insult to injury, what they have recently done is invited a Asian boy band to the White House to discuss what? Anti-Asian violence. You can't make this up, okay? You can't make this up. This is a direct smack in the face to every black American in this country.
What are you talking about, Lucas? How does this affect black people whatsoever? I agree that it's dumb. I don't even think that these guys are American citizens, so why are they talking about so-called Asian hate crime in America? But how does this harm black people? Are you saying that all other attacks on other races who are not black should be ignored until all attacks on black people are dealt with? So you want black people to take the priority over every other race, Lucas?
To just add some perspective, because I'm not making it racial. I'm just making an observation. And that's one thing that many people can't stand. It's when you point out the blatant hypocrisy, when you point out the blatant anti-black racism, they don't like that. They want you to just be quiet and get along to get along.
So getting along with other racists is bad, Lucas? You're not making any sense.
To add some perspective to things as to why this is such a smack in the face is, let's take, for example, January 6th, where you had a majority of white ignorants storm the Capitol. Why? Because their feelings got hurt. That's essentially what happened. They didn't like the outcome of the election, and they were gaslit to believe that it was stolen from them.
That's not what happened at all. I won't talk about what really happened. I'll just say that the FBI needs to be investigated again.
Due to it being stolen from them, allegedly, they went and stormed the Capitol, and they were acting violent and like thugs, like animals.
Lucas is constantly saying that he doesn't like when black people are called thugs or animals, but he loves to call white people those names because he's a massive hypocrite and a racist.
Happened to them. They were rewarded. Let me repeat that. They were rewarded for their violent behavior.
He calls being arrested, mistreated, and held without due process as being rewarded.
And how that reward came was in the form of election integrity laws being passed. That's what happened.
Election integrity laws is a reward for the whole country, Lucas. Don't you want integrity in your elections, Lucas? These laws should have been passed a long time ago. Anyways, how do you connect integrity laws to the people who were at the event on January 6th? What does one have to do with the other? Let's see the straws that you're grasping at.
What happened to the police during January 6th? We saw how the right completely flipped the whole script on its head. Where now the police were the bad guys. Where this black officer who shot this white lady was the bad guy.
Wow. Lucas is either being disingenuous or dumb. I don't think that Lucas is dumb. He's a smart guy, or perhaps devious might be a better word. So he's being disingenuous. People can simultaneously support the cops and still call out bad cops, Lucas. Calling out bad members of a group doesn't mean you hate the entire group, Lucas. But Lucas is hoping that his audience is so dumb that so they don't see how disingenuous he is being. Sadly, some are really that dumb.
Up until this point, police had always been the good guys when they were taking black lives. But now...
Again, I see, Lucas. Nobody said the police are good for taking black lives. The whole police shoot black people for just being black is a massive lie. The good police shoot criminals, period. The criminal's race is irrelevant.
This black officer took this white woman's life. This officer was the bad guy. Very interesting how that played out.
It's actually not interesting at all. There are some good cops and some bad cops. It's really that simple.
When it came to the random attacks on Asians, no context whatsoever. Let me repeat that again. No context whatsoever. There was no explaining away why the attacks happened. There was no mental health discussion. There was no blaming it on video games. There was no blaming it on weed. There was no out.
Again, that is another lie. The attacks were not blamed on black people, Lucas. They were blamed on Trump and Trump supporters. But again, in Lucas's mind, only black people are allowed to be victims.
For these attacks, other than, hey, they are violent, this is what they do. What happened then? They get an anti-Asian hate crime bill.
I actually partially agree with Lucas on this part. Yeah, it was dumb to have an anti-Asian hate crime bill. No particular race should have an anti-hate crime bill. Not Asians, not black people, not even white people. But Lucas, again, is crying, but what about the black people? Again, he proves that he only cares about his own race and he hates all others. This proves that he hates every race but his own.
I want everyone to understand why people are upset. I want everyone to understand why this is being seen as complete anti-black racism. Because when we have actual grievances, when we have actual concerns, and we're not talking about a CNN white supremacist where everyone's a white supremacist, we're talking about a bona fide white supremacist who has a 180-page manifesto who went out of his way to target a defenseless black community.
A defenseless black community. Oh, the poor blacks are so helpless. Will somebody please think of the blacks? I want you to think about this, Lucas. If the blacks are so defenseless, who aided in taking their defenses away? We have to keep in mind that this shooter chose this area because it was a gun-free zone. So that means black people didn't have guns to defend themselves. And who made it a gun-free zone? That's right, Democrats. And you're not going to like this, but who voted for the Democrats? That's right, the black Democrats who live there. Call that victim blaming if you want, but it's the truth.
What happened? Nothing. We're on to the next story. We're on to the next story. And the next one, and the next one, almost as if it didn't happen to begin with. Now they are trying to clump in all these shootings with this Buffalo shooting. They are not the same. They are not the same whatsoever.
Again, only black people can be victims in Lucas's mind. Again, they caught the guy. Other than investigating the FBI, like I suggest, what do you want, Lucas? An anti-black hate crime bill? Again, I think that the anti-Asian hate crime bill is stupid, as I would also think that an anti-white hate crime bill would also be stupid. And I'm white. Assault, murder, and any other violent crimes are already illegal. The race of the perpetrator or victim shouldn't matter.
But I want you to understand the reaction to Black Death. It's almost as if it's been normalized, as if people have been conditioned to expect this to happen.
Again, show me anyone saying, quote, that's expected in the black community. Again, they caught the guy. What more do you want, Lucas? How about getting rid of the gun-free zones in black communities so black people can defend themselves, Lucas? I would agree to that, but you're not going to ask for that, are you, Lucas?
Soldiers die, black people die, anyone else dies or perishes, then we have a problem. Then we have to act. We have to do something. When a white person dies, we have to act. We have to do something. We have to understand, why did this happen? What could have accounted for this? Why did this white boy do this crime? Could have been video games. Could have been, mental health. What is the issue? When a black person does that same crime, it's expected. And it's expected because they've conditioned you to view black people in a certain light. And that's where the anti-black racism comes from. Because there's no reason to do anything. There's no reason to act on it because that's expected. That's normal.
Wrong again, Lucas. If anything, the media, just like you, Lucas, see black people as eternal victims. Why do you think organizations like BLM exists? The media pushes the eternal black victim narrative every chance they get. Lucas actually seems jealous that the media are paying attention to other minorities like Latinos and Asians instead of black people. How dare they care about other races other than my race, Lucas says.
Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, Lucas, why you have to make everything so racial, okay? Why does it have to just be about race? Why, we're all children of God, okay? Or if you don't believe, we're all children of God up until the point you want to bring up Chicago to deflect doing some action.
Why don't you address Chicago, Lucas? Gangs kill way more black people than this shooter. And black people kill way more white people than white people kill black people, Lucas. These are valid points that you ignore, Lucas.
We're all children of God up until the point that we start talking about reparations and whatnot.
Reparations. What happened to saving black lives, Lucas? Now you pivot to, give me some money. How is reparations going to save any black lives, Lucas? This whole video, think about the defenseless black people. And then at the very end, give me reparations. Amazing. I'm still waiting to see how you connect this Asian bill to black people. This video is the biggest stretch I have ever seen. Anti-Asian hate crime bill somehow equals anti-black racism. You're grasping at straws, Lucas. So, First, we saw how much he hates Latinos. Then we saw how much he hates Asians. And as always, he threw in some anti-white hate for good measure. And it all adds up to the media aren't talking about me and my people anymore. Me, my race, my race, my race. Screw every other race. My race is most important. On top of being a racist liar, Lucas is a whiny little bitch. I honestly pity him. There's more that I wanted to say about Lucas, so I will save that for another video. Amazing. While I was editing my last video, Tristan made a community post about me. Now, while working on this video, she made not one but 2 videos about me. I'll have to up my game and make my videos faster to keep up with how much she's talking about me. That will probably be the topic of my next video. Anyway, I'm Alpha Eagle. God bless you for watching, and may God bless America.